Dr. Denise Ejo, the CEO of Governmental Cancer Foundation. I would like to welcome you to our Governmental Cancer Foundation page. Our goal is to create an awareness of the challenges, support and guidance experienced in managing cancer care for sufferers, family, carers and friends. To engage with us, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click our notification bell.
Dr. Denise Ejo will be speaking with the founder of Governmental Breast Cancer Foundation, and that's Governmental OB. So it's over to Dr. Denise. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Because I can't. I'm not very clear.
You're very clear here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Good morning, Dr. Dennis. Well, let's just yield the floor to you.
Looking bright and active this morning. So over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, your viewers. Thank you for this time. We're talking to two what do you call them? NGOs. And I can see them now. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mrs. Eniola and Collier.
Good morning, Dr. Dennis. Good morning, Mrs. Obi. Good morning. Good morning, Eniola. Good morning.
Okay, thank you guys, and thank you for joining us this morning as we talk about cancer awareness. As you know, we're sponsored by AIT. So let's start. I'm going to start firstly by introducing each of you. So let's go with Eniola. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to be referring to you as Eniola throughout this program. So please bear with me.
That's fine.
Okay, Eniola is the founder and executive director of Nayola Cancer Care Foundation, I think. And she's contributed a huge amount of work towards in her NGO and in working with people with colorectal cancer and other aspects of the cancer journey. Eniola founded the organization after the death of her husband, and she has won several awards. So thank you for your time and thank you for joining us this morning. I have a lot for you, but I also have to introduce Mrs. O. Oh, I'm not going to do that, Collier. I'm going to call you Collier.
Just call me Collier.
That just works it. I will get it totally wrong. Collier is also a breast cancer survivor who was diagnosed breast cancer stage 3 and has gone through it and come out of it. She's creating awareness in not just in Nigeria, around the world, and trying to change the narrative. So both of you, I want to thank you. Collier has a book that's called Scared But Never Scared. So let's look at it and let's have a good chat today about the role of the NGOs in our bid. Our bid. I use the word our because I think all of us on the platform have a common goal. So my first question goes to Eniola. Good morning. Now, Eniola, are you ready for me? I am. We are laughing. Can you please summarize your vision for Nayola and the what, the whys, and the hows it has impacted on driving cancer awareness? And I'm looking at it with focusing on colorectal cancer, which is your primary role.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, that Nayola Cancer Care Foundation is the first colorectal cancer NGO in West Africa, and before 2013, I never heard about colon cancer, and even my late husband, not until he was diagnosed and he passed on. So there was a vacuum on awareness on colon cancer. And with my pain after I passed on, and I thought, how do I give back to Nigeria? Because when people came visiting us, then they always asked, what's happened? What happened? Being a young man of 30, he died at the age of 38. And they were like, what happened to him? I said, he died from colon cancer. They're like, what is colon cancer? So I have to start explaining and all that. So we just have told there's a vacuum that needs to be. So what's the mission and our vision in Nayola Cancer Care Foundation? Our vision is to make sure Nigerians are screened early. And is latest by age 40, Nigerians should go for the screening on colon cancer. There are some easy tests, cheap tests, not all tests. The first test for colon cancer is maybe doing the FIT or FABT, which is fecal occult blood test. That's the first screening, checking the stool to know if you are bleeding or not. As I'm going to remind us, I'm going to speak from a human angle. I'm not a medical doctor. I find myself in advocacy, cancer control, and management because of the death of my late husband. So I'm not going to speak as a doctor. I'm going to speak from a man and my experience as being an advocate and as a caregiver. So that's the purpose of Yola. We are advocating and we are working towards creating awareness of colon cancer and making sure that Nigerians are screened before the age 40. Later by age 40, you should start your screening on colorectal cancer because we realize that early detection, accurate diagnosis, and early treatment saves lives. The one good thing with colon cancer is one of the rare cancer that they actually survive from it. That is if it is picked early. In fact, from the screening, like if you are going for your colonoscopy, if they discover a polyp at that point, they can remove it and then they send it for biopsies. And if it's early, then the treatment can start as soon as possible and you're free. So those are why we started Miller Cancer Care Foundation. Then also, where are you? We designed some programs to help Miller Cancer Care, to help Nigerians to understand what we're talking about. We all know the brain of cancer advocacy in Nigeria, talking to people about cancer. Number one, our belief. Two, our religion. Nigeria is a very religious country. So we saw that, how can we get this message across to them? So we designed a program. And Nigeria like enjoyment, Nigeria like dancing, Nigeria like life to the fullest. So Miller Cancer Care Foundation started a program called Nigeria. This event is about dancing. You come, have fun, dance, exercise. Then while we are dancing, we are talking about colon cancer, breast cancer, and we're also doing screening at the event. While we also talk about food, because colon cancer has been linked from research to the food we are eating, the food we are feeding our body with. So at Nigeria, we bring everything together. We bring exercise experts, we bring doctors, then we screen for colon cancer, and we also do some other cancer because we also know that breast cancer is number one killer disease, followed by cervical. So we also partner with NGOs who do this other breast cancer, sisters NGO. And so I said we will be able to screen about 2,000. So let me stop there because I can go on and on. So let me stop there.
That was a good introduction of what you do anyway, and I think that's what we really want to understand because people in the area where you are working and Nigerians generally do not know where to seek help, and at least you're able to give them some guidance. Okay, Kolia, you've got one. What is KISS? Because that's what your organization is called. And can you please summarize your vision for KISS? How does it impact your own? How does it impact breast cancer? Because you are coming from it from the perspective of a survivor. So you see, I balanced it very well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Denise. So KISS simply means keep it sleek and survive. So keep it sleek and survive. So it was coined out of after my treatment, after I'd gone through breast cancer treatment, and I thought, okay, how do I give back to the society? And I started, speaking on my platforms, on Instagram, actually, and that's where that name came up about. I thought, okay, if you keep it sleek, then you can actually survive. What are you keeping sleek? I went through breast cancer, and I always say it's never, ever a journey that you go standing on one foot. You have to stand on 2 feet. Mm-hmm. So KISS initiative, so we are Salome Collier Breast Cancer Foundation KISS initiative, and our mission is to change the narratives of breast cancer, especially in Nigeria, and again in the rural area. In the rural area where these ladies, men also do not get to have internet access where people actually, when we advocate, most people advocate on platforms, social medias, talking on television, but have we ever thought about those women that live in the rural area that do not have access to internet, they do not have access to electricity, and they do not have access to, radios, or sometimes unable to get access to hear about these cancers. So our foundation is there to change the narratives on breast cancer and survivorship. And we do this through advocacy, as well as, talking to people. Most especially, I'm more focused on the rural area rather than in the cities where people are actually aware.
Thank you. I mean, that's a very good one, because that is, I think most NGOs, especially those in Nigeria, would be advancing towards the rural areas no matter what. It's just that you've got to get different parts of your plan. I believe that most of us have some plan towards the rural, because the rural are the highest population. Anyway, I'm going to ask one more question for you now. The next question goes: breast cancer has continued. I use it very well. Is it continued to be a disease that is a concern? We have to accept that. It affects both male and female. Now, a lot of people think it's actually linked to just women. So the question I'm going to ask is, share 2 things that a breast cancer patient can do to prevent their outcomes, or to navigate through their outcomes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm asking you because you are a survivor. So
yes.
None of us on the platform are medics, so we're not going from the... okay, go on.
Yeah. So yes, I will be speaking from the lenses of a survivor. I won't be speaking from the lens. I'm not a medical practitioner, and I will not give any medical advices. So basically, as a newly diagnosed breast cancer patient, or you haven't even been diagnosed at all, the first and foremost thing is to make sure you're proactive with your lifestyle. You're proactive with your body. You're checking. I always use that word. People say, it is not my portion. It is not my portion syndrome does not take anyone anywhere. So you must make sure that you are focused. You keep checking your body. So I will go with breast cancer, the breast area. You have to keep checking. You do your personal self-check. Then, if you're over the age of 40, try as much as possible to get a mammogram done. It is not a life-threatening screening. It is just for them to find out if they see anything, they would be able to deal with it on time. And if they nip it in the bud on time, the death rate will reduce. But by the time you see something and you start hopping from church to church, start hopping from, trying to do it yourself, trying to find a remedy personally, the doctors are out there for a reason. So my advice would be, take yourself to the hospital, do the right thing, get yourself checked, and make sure you're keeping your eyes on your body. We all know our bodies, and when it changes, we would know.
Thank you. That's nice and easy. 2 big things. Okay, now that one is a different form. Okay, let me now go to this one. As a cancer, this is for Eniola. Eniola, now you can say that our the cancer survivor, as you are, okay, let me just put it the way I want it. As we are all cancer, we're the cancer business. So I am a cancer survivor, Collie is, and you are actively, you are a carer. So from that context, I would say that cancer, from your organization with your NGO, I would say that cancer awareness campaign is key to making a difference. I think you will agree with me on that.
Sure.
Okay. So if we go from there, can you provide some guidance on how Neola accesses or fundraises towards doing this, excluding the Ijaya that you just explained? How do you access funds? How do you get people to participate in your drive to get you where you are going? I think that would help a lot of
thank you so much, Dr. Dennis, for bringing that up. That this is very, very crucial, and within your mind, it's not easy getting funding. Honestly, it's a sad reality in this country that people who are doing something worthy, genuine, like most of us are into cancer advocacy and creating awareness, we are not getting the support. It takes my blood most time to put that event together, and I'm saying it openly, I've said it on channels, and I'm saying it openly on AIT. Most times, like the last day, in fact, 5 days to last day, I cried out on my Facebook page for support, because it's the sleep and nearly, and it's about saying, do we cancel this event? Because there was no fund. There was no fund. There's no grant. And the event, we've already started running the event. Yes, we are lucky that we were able to see partners like Safari Dancer, like Ijoya, like Vicky Akindade. These are people who partner with us to build Ijoya. But there's some other things we need to pay for, and we couldn't. We are even not having access for screening, because we wrote letters to organizations to please support NOLA so that we'll be able to screen people for free. But we weren't getting the support. And it has always been like that. And I want to tell you this. From we registered NOLA Cancer Care Foundation officially in 2016. Until date, I'm a jewelry designer. I've been using most funds I used to run day-to-day activities of NOLA is from my jewelry. And then for Iberia, I had to start running to friends. Like 5 days to last Iberia, it was a church member who is a big friend of mine that actually saved this. And she saw the post and she private chatted me, and she was able to donate some substantial amount so that we'll be able to cover some costs that we needed urgently, we need to pay urgently. And that has been my story. And I learned that when I see organization, when I see some firms, and they put money into some programs in Nigeria, some events in Nigeria that does not even it's painful when I see some of what organization key into, and they'll tell you that because what you are doing will not bring, is not what they want, and the return for them is not like that. So they feel like entertainment, which is why entertainment is also good, because we are also leveraging on entertainment to bring awareness of colorectal cancer. But I don't know, when brands and other organizations, you think that when you bring your proposal and you expect them to support a laudable project, and they throw it into the trash, and they rather support event that you'll be looking at. Why are they supporting it? Event that is not bringing anything to the society. Event that support religion, event that supports Yahoo. You see organizations in Nigeria supporting such events to the detriment of cancer control and management. It's a sad one, honestly. It's a sad reality, and I'm really pained. And I always say this, that nobody will help Nigeria. Nobody is going to do it for us. It's our problem. It's our citizens. It's our families, our friends, our husbands, our sister, uncles, aunties that are dying from cancer. And government alone cannot do it. Everybody has a way to pay. You do not have a way to pay. Another organization has a way to pay. If someone feels that if they are donating money to NOLA Cancer Care Foundation, there is a NOLA that will get the money, fine. The little we can do, we will continue to do it. But if you go to a state, everybody will start looking at themselves. But I want Nigerians to know that it's not about Nigerians alone. It's about all of us, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you are pained. I think all of us are pained.
Yes, we are.
I think we're all quite pained on this one. That's why I had to ask the question, because the truth about it is it depends on a lot of factors determine how much a lot of us can access, which is sad, because I'm not going to lie, AIT has done us very well, and it allows me to be able to have this conversation, which I think we're very grateful. Thank you. Well done to AIT for that. Can I also ask you one other question? Can you share 2 things that a colorectal cancer patient should do to prevent the disease? 2 things they should do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My sister, Solukoya Obi, has mentioned 2 important things, which is the burden of cancer control and increase in Nigeria. It is not my passion syndrome. Honestly, That is what is killing us, and that is what is so painful. So we, as an advocate, that by now we should have been a little bit, we shouldn't be where we are as a nation when it comes to cancer control. Because I still don't understand why people will say cancer is not their portion, and people will not do what they're supposed to do. We've said it, early detection, accurate diagnosis saves lives. What do you need to do? Go for your screening. Simple. Even as for colorectal cancer screening, we are purely a preventive organization. We advocate more on prevention because we have more late stages, and we don't even have money to take care of those who are in the late stages. These who have this cancer and who are on palliative care. We don't even have an hospice. If Nigeria has an hospice, maybe one or two. So it's a sad reality. The only thing that we need to do is to take these preventive measures seriously. You don't say, well, cancer is not your portion. Nobody pray for cancer. Nobody pray for it. Get yourself checked. Then that's number one. You don't have.
Oh, we've lost the voice. You're muted. Unmute.
No, she's not muted.
Yeah.
Okay, do your colorectal cancer screening, go for your breast cancer screening, go for your cervical cancer screening, go for your prostate cancer screening. Now, that is for prevention for those who don't have it. Now you are being diagnosed, you are told that you have cancer. Why will people run away from the hospital? Why will you trash the report of your doctor into the dustbin and you never go to the churches? I'm a Christian. I'm not against Christianity. I'm not here to attack my religion. But we are saying it is what it is. Nigeria must change their attitude. Why must you trash? It's God that give doctors the ideas. So if a doctor tells you what to do, why must you trash it? Why must you get and start asking your neighbor, coming on social media, going to the affairs, going to the traditional? I'm not saying they are not okay, but please, we are not saying you shouldn't pray. Prayer is very important. If not for prayer, I won't be here today. But you should take the advice of your doctor. So for a colorectal cancer patient who wants to survive, and the diagnosis has been done, and you've been told you have cancer, the next thing you have to do is to take the advice of the doctor and follow through what they ask you to do. And also, you can also reach out to us because we also navigate. That's part of the work we do at Yola. We tell you how to go about it. We will not advise, we will not suggest treatment plan for you. You have to make that decision. We might tell you one or two things to do. Maybe your eating your lifestyle has to change, because all these things will help you to fight the disease and come back. But also, you must be positive that this disease, I'm going to survive it. I'm coming out and I'm going to be a testimony. So not neglecting the doctors as I am running to the churches. The one is late. They start running to the NGO, bringing a message to us. And what do you want me to do?
Yep.
One question that I want us to answer. All of us have to answer this. So I'm going to cut you because this is very key for all of us, and I think it's going to pain everybody when I ask you. So let me ask Kolia first, because sorry to cut you, but I need to.
Thank you.
The question goes: what are your thoughts in this lack of access to this cancer health fund? Because that thing is really, really paining me at present. And what would we like to happen from all stakeholders? I want us to be very specific, because I think most of us that are either cancer carers or cancer advocates or cancer survivors who are involved in trying to change the narrative have now found ourselves very pained with the fact that the cancer fund is not outside. We hear there's cancer fund. We know there's cancer fund. We don't know where the money is, and we don't know how it is. So what are your thoughts? And I just want to give me as quickly as possible so that they don't cut us off before we finish.
Okay. So thank you, Denise. So the Cancer Health Fund, it's not the government money. These are monies that have been given to assist cancer patients. And somebody out there within the government is sitting on it. And from the grapevine, the money keeps decreasing. It's a shame that people would see cancer patients, people going through cancer, being pained because they've got no funding. Because cancer treatment is quite an expensive venture. You find out that people have to sell up their properties. Some people have to sell up everything. We go out there, like Eniola said, begging for money. It will take you one eye and one leg to be able to plead with people. But somebody somewhere within the government is actually sitting on that money and not releasing it for the purpose it was given. So the stakeholders, if every NGO would honestly, I'm going to use in quotes because there are some NGOs, what they do is to come out and do what, I'm not going to mention names. They come out there, they're advertising themselves, they're using government money to patronize their NGOs and feel they are doing something for cancer patients. Absolutely no. In my own opinion, that's not what they are doing. If you're going to be sincere enough to be able to speak out, if NGOs will come together and have one loud voice, and the government would be able to sit down and have a rethink of releasing this money. Sometimes I always wish, let this cancer visit each and every one of them, one after the other in their families, that way they will feel the pain, and they will not be, even with the money they have, they will not be able to save that person. Then maybe that time they will be able to sit up and release the money for these promises who sit out there and unable to, have access to fund, have access to limited funding for their treatment. How would somebody, a pepper seller by the side of the street, who is actually is being diagnosed with breast cancer, and they will be told they'll be having chemotherapy cycle for 250,000. Where do you expect this pepper seller to get this money? The government need to sit up and ask themselves the question.
Thank you. I want to say a very big thank you to Eniola Akoli. You really helped me to drive home what has been a very big burden, and that was one of the reasons why we had to really look at the roles of the NGOs and what you are doing. I applaud all NGOs. I am also one. Ours is Common Cancer Foundation. So I'd like to thank both of you for joining me today. I want to thank you both for your contribution, and I look forward to us doing something again in the very near future. However, for today, for all of you joining us online and at AIT, I say again, thank you. We're all thanking you for your contribution, for your support in getting us, giving us this space to be able to do this. You can follow us on Common Cancer Foundation. We have an Instagram page, a WhatsApp, Facebook. You can follow us there as well. And just to say, at the end of this month, we have a conference that is going on with quite a few various international groups, and we call it Narrowing the Gap. All stakeholders are involved. So what are all stakeholders? Who are all our stakeholders? We're inviting you to join us on our Zoom webinar as we do that at the end of the month. The flyers are already out. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you once again.
Thank you
once again. And you see all your things. Everything is now going on your spaces, so you'll find yourselves there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Many thanks, Dr. Dennis. Of course, we've had an interesting conversation with your guest there on this problem of cancer. I think the major takeaway there is that we need attitudinal change here in Nigeria to effectively fight this scourge of cancer. This idea of first visiting worship centers in the face of very critical health conditions should be reconsidered, because like a doctor would say, I think Dr. Okoye, who is always on television, carrying out health advocacy, would say we need to start from the known to the unknown, while not at the same time ruling out the efficacy of miracles. Thank you so much, Dr. Dennis.
Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again.